The mud is deep, but beneath it lies a deeper layer of caprock that might be holding a treasure. This drill rig is digging nearly half a mile underground in search of helium, and scientists think this could be one of the richest reservoirs in the world.
It is quite nice to think that beneath the feet here that there is this accumulation of gas, and yes, it is very rare. The significance is definitely global. Yeah, definitely.
Thomas Abraham James is the CEO of Pulsar Helium. He's traveled around the world looking for spaces and places where the gas might be trapped in the sediment. In 2011, miners were boring in this same spot for precious metals like nickel, but they hit something that set off a reaction that witnesses say sounded like a jet engine.
The words that I heard were violent and terrifying, so that the crew evacuated and they thought it was combustible.
But there was no explosion.
Nothing was on fire, completely inert gas.
And when the crew came back 5 days later, the gas was still flowing. It was sampled, analyzed, and the hole resealed. It was helium gas with a purity level of 10.5%. That's a level more than 30 times higher than the industry standard. Pulsar Helium acquired the permits, engaged in several ground and geothermal surveys, then recruited scientists, engineers, and mechanics from across America and around the globe. And here they are in a remote area outside Babbitt, Minnesota.
I was working in Tanzania, the world's first helium exploration company over there, and really scoured the globe since, but I've never seen anything that appears to be as significant as this project right here. Our objectives are to replicate the original discovery. That was at approximately 1,800 feet. We're drilling within 50 feet of that original discovery hole.
It seems like there's a real science to this. It goes well beyond just digging a deep hole.
Oh, the science involved is incredible. We really do look at every aspect of it. So the geology, the gases, the fluid compositions, where did the helium come from as well. So we get down to the isotopic level.
How will you know when you've struck gold?
We've got a series of alerts set up, so should it breach a certain threshold, which is above background level, this place will start beeping and you'll see us jumping up and down and staring at the screens.
Are we going to be able to hear you screaming in the Twin Cities?
I think so. There's a good chance of that, yeah. There's going to be a lot of excitement in this room.
And they won't be alone. Before you think this is all about balloons, think again. Helium is a commodity with a demand that's gone way, way up. And there's $1 billion market for it that could pop because of shrinking supply. The number of industries which rely on helium also continues to soar because helium, when turned into a liquid, is the safest and most effective coolant around. It's critical to operating MRI machines, rocket ships, superconductors, and so much more.
Right around me, I see 1, 2, 3, 4. About 5 cryostats, all of them doing materials research, studying materials that hopefully can be used in technology of the future. And all of those are cooled with liquid helium. So this is going to go in the cryostat tomorrow?
Yes, exactly.
Paul Kroll is the head of the School of Physics and Astronomy at the University of Minnesota. The U spent more than $1 million to build its own compressor, which retains and liquefies about 90% of its helium deposits.
We're paying now $20 a liter, and I remember the days when it was $2 a liter.
For a century, the U.S. government owned the largest helium reserve in the country, but that's since been depleted and sold to private equity. There's still some helium found in the U.S., but the bigger exporters now are in Russia, Qatar, and Tanzania.
Helium at atmospheric pressure boils at about 4 degrees above absolute zero Kelvin. That's about minus 500 degrees Fahrenheit. And it is the coldest liquid at atmospheric pressure. It's really the only practical way for large scientific apparatus to keep it that cold continuously. So if we didn't have it, we'd have to shut down the instruments in this lab here. And that has happened. We've gone through times when if we have not been able to get helium.
And if this discovery pans out, what does that mean for Minnesota, the upper Midwest, and the U.S.?
The most important ripple effect is having multiple sources available and having a supply chain. Semiconductor processing, certain parts of aerospace, those are the industries that use helium. And a key point is the delivery network. And so those places which right now wouldn't build in Minnesota might find it more attractive if we had a local source.
Back in Babbitt, the team must watch and wait patiently. The drill only travels 30 feet a day, so it'll take about another week before it hits its target depth. Operations Manager Michael Sturdy promising there is no fracking involved, and at every step, the rig places these drill collars and drill casing to protect the groundwater.
We did a wildlife survey of the site and the access track. It's not a steel mine. We're not going to clear huge swaths of land and dig large pits. It's nothing that's going to be that impactful.
At least not yet. If Pulsar finds the helium, Thomas Abraham James said to expect plans for a new helium plant here, and then a distribution network to get it to where it's going. Some manufacturers may even want to move in closer too.
With the AI boom, with the demand for chips, do you see then Minnesota, if this discovery pans out, being a global hub for all of this manufacturing?
Potentially, because Minnesota has all the ingredients. It's the right location. Location, location, location.
In Babbitt, Jonah Kaplan, CBS News, Minnesota.